So here we have my terminal GUI library for the Arduino IDE, designed for creating very basic user interfaces with a serial terminal. Here I'm using PuTTY, but other terminal emulators should work. First thing it's doing is probing the terminal, getting an idea of the type, which is 6, which is particularly useful, and it finds out the size by going off the screen and coming back, and it's detected it as 80 by 24. Then all this is primitive stuff to do with changing the fonts and the colours and the such. So here we have usable ways to highlight text. Blinking text isn't actually blinking on PuTTY, it might do on an emulator, but yeah, it's still quite usable. Then we can have double width or double width and double height text. Might be useful putting titles on things or showing emphasis. I may even try and render markdown at some point in time, but I haven't got there yet. Standard 8 colours. Most terminals support 8 colours, foreground and background. Then you can have bright versions of these, which bring it up to 16 for foreground colours, kind of nice for emphasis. Then you can have full 256 colours. Perhaps the most useful is the grayscale one. We'll see. I've got some box drawing routines that use Unicode. The stuff on the right has a kind of a fake scroll bar for creating what looks like pop-up windows that might show text and stuff, and I've also created an actual widget to do that, which we'll see in a bit. This is changing the scroll window. So here it's been restricted down to just these lines in the middle so that you can print stuff on them, but it doesn't scroll the whole rest of the screen off, but it does scroll the whole width. So I'm not sure of the worth of turning this into a widget, because I don't know if more than one on the screen would be useful. I'll review that as I work on the thing, but it is still quite useful for sort of logging output of things without losing other information. Now this is the first bit of mouse capture, and this works quite nicely on PuTTY. You can get the different buttons, and you get an event when you click down, an event when you let go. Yeah, you get that with all those, and also the mouse wheel, the right button works, all stuff like that. Now these are the first proper widgets. I've created them, but you can't see them because they're not visible yet until one pops up. And there you go, you can click on it once it pops up, but this one, there you go, but you can't click on blue until it appears. So it is kind of nice, it behaves itself quite well. And these are all, this is quite straightforward to do, and then you're going hiding again, and the library does the hiding in the background as long as you keep running the refresh routine to make sure it happens. This is a checkbox. You can set and unset these both with the mouse or with the keyboard shortcuts, which you can see there, 4, F5, F6. And again, the library handles the state of all these. You can just check the state and whether or not an event has happened. Similarly, this is a radio button. Starts off with red selected. You can swap it to green. Limitation is all the ones that are currently visible on the screen are considered to be in the same group. I've not got a way of having multiple groups of radio buttons yet. Seems a bit excessive for what I'm trying to achieve with the library. That seems to work okay. Now this is a fake pop-up windows to show text strings. So we've got Hamlet's soliloquy, and you can scroll down it using the arrow keys or the mouse wheel, and the little scroll bar, the fake scroll bar, pretends to be a scroll bar, and you can also, there you go. So there you go. I need to sort out word wrapping, but that's a good start, and it is actually technically usable. Yeah, so that works okay. And then finally we're on to sort of line editing. So you might use this if you're trying to create a form, and you can do the sort of line editing things you might expect. Keyboard shortcuts, F10, F11, F12, swap between them, but equally you can click your mouse and you can just type random garbage in them. You can edit at the end, it won't overflow, so if I try and overflow it, it will try and stop you. You can delete it, you can edit at the start. So there you go. When you're done, it pops up what was ever in the strings. These stay in scope until you delete the widgets. So if you want to do something with it, that text, you want to do it before you delete the widgets. I think work to do on the library now is very much all about these different styles. So these boxes with these lines are pretty much the only way I've got things displayable for editing fields and things like that. So I need to add some more of those because that's obviously takes up a lot of space. So yeah, it's getting there. I'm reasonably happy with how it's coming along.